what's the longest you've ever gone without eating? I mean, what's the longest you've ever gone without eating food? We live in society today, especially here in the States. It's so easy to get food, just about anything that you want at the, delivered to your doorstep, and food is just so readily available, even unhealthy food. And there are some very interesting ways to stay healthy because our bodies have not changed for since evolution, right? Since the beginning of time, since caveman time. And quite frankly, we just eat too much. And that's part of the biggest reason. And I've had an amazing health transformation over the last 6, 7 months. And it's because I stopped eating at certain times, right? I started fasting. Maybe you've heard of intermittent fasting. Rita says 5 days is the longest she's ever gone without food. Well, I've gone about 4 days without food, and it wasn't by choices because I had surgery and I was in the hospital. I'll get to that here in a couple of seconds. But I want to talk about what's the longest that you've gone without eating food and some of the benefits that you might be surprised to hear about when you don't eat for an extended length of time, called fasting or intermittent fasting. And then, isn't it funny when you people in the morning is usually when they break their fast? That's why it's called breakfast. So welcome to Chavez Live 360, brought to you by Live Masters, where we feel alive by going live, and your journey to video mastery begins here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mike Chavez, and I've been on a live video journey for almost 1,600 days. I've gone live every day with videos like this. I come up with different video topics to inspire and educate people and teach them the things that I've learned. And I specialize in helping people step out of their comfort zone and explore some of these amazing, healthy ways to live life. That's what I do. So I'm actually here in Las Vegas. If you could be so kind to let me know where in the world that you're tuning in from, I would love to shout you out. So we have some live viewers. Let me shout them out. Sarah says 10 days. She's gone 10 days without eating. Jackie says 4 days. What's going on, Chase? How you doing? It's good to see you. Rita, it's good to see you too. And then Rita said 5 days. 5 days is the longest that she's gone. Now, fasting or not eating for any length of time goes back to all the writings in history. Throughout all civilizations, people have learned about for not to eat at certain times or sacrifice certain foods or not eat certain things for religious beliefs. But as far as your health is concerned, the health benefits for giving your body a break to process the food that you're putting into it is truly incredible. And I'm going to read some of them real quick here in a second. But my first quick story here about the longest that I've ever gone without actually eating food is when I had one of my 2 back surgeries about 6 years ago. And when I had this surgery, they had to cut my stomach from the front, and then they had to go in and they had to fuse my L5S1 vertebrae together. And it was quite the surgery, as you can imagine. Now, while they're in there taking care of my insides, moving stuff around. It was quite uncomfortable when I got the anesthesia, because anytime your organs, especially your intestines and stuff like that, get moved around in any sort of major surgery, they go into shock and they shut down. And that's basically what happens. It takes them a while to come back online. If we think about our body, how incredible our intestines are, we all know they're like super long, right? And it's an involuntary muscle that we don't even think about, which is really crazy, right? It just our food just gets pushed through there then we don't think about it until there's a problem. And boy, did I have a problem when I had this surgery, because they stopped working. And I had so much stuff in my stomach. I didn't eat. And they wouldn't let me leave the hospital until I went to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. And so it was very difficult for me. And oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. It was just like, ugh. So I couldn't eat any food. Just the thought of food would make me sick. And so I was like, whoa. I realized in a few days I was feeling better. I was losing weight. But now, as far as what I do and what's worked for me over the last, I would say 5 months of consistently doing what I'm about to tell you has helped me lose a lot of weight. Of course, you guys, if you know, I do exercise every day, and I do my research, I do my homework to figure out what's going to be best for me for my time to go to the gym and work out and stuff because I'm eating right and everything. But what I'm about to tell you on how I eat, it's not necessarily, it is important what you eat. More importantly is when you eat and how much you eat in a 24-hour period to keep track of it. So I do the intermittent fasting, and I've done the 8-hour eating window and 16 hours of not eating. So I've got it pretty much down now where my body's used to it, and it's gotten in this rhythm. And there are certain times, maybe 1 or 2 times a day, I'll go 24 hours without eating any food, but I will have like water, tea, or coffee. Doesn't break your fast. Those are the three things that don't break my fast. Water, tea, and coffee, of course, with no sugar, no cream, nothing in it. And you would be shocked, though. I know it sounds crazy to some people to not eat for that amount of time. And I never thought it would be possible. But once I started exercising and doing my research and learning, the longer that you can go without eating, here are some of the benefits. Now, I have them here. It was sent to me by one of my most amazing friends in the whole entire world. She sent me this because she's totally into this too. And it says, after you fast for 4 hours, your blood sugar falls. All the food that's left in your stomach is usually gone through, and your insulin is no longer produced. After 12 hours, food consumed has been burned. Digestive system goes to sleep. Body begins healing process. Human growth hormone begins to increase. Glucagon is glucagon is released to balance the blood sugar. Okay, and then after 14 hours, body has converted to using stored fat after 14 hours as energy. So after 14 hours of not eating anything, like I said, just water, coffee, or tea, your body will start to burn stored energy. And then human growth hormone starts to increase dramatically. Now, 16 hours is when the body is ramping up for fat burning. So it's a little bit more, right? It's ready to go. Now, that's what I usually fast at, is 16 hours. Now, I've already done in the morning when I doing my fasting. Before I break my fast, I make sure that I do my cardiovascular activity before I break my fast, that 16-hour fast. Now, let me go on. After 18 hours of fasting, human growth hormone starts to skyrocket. I'm going to explain why this happens. After 24 hours of not eating or fasting, autophagy begins. Autophagy is when your body takes damaged cells, yeast, fungus, and misfolded proteins and recycles them into fresh new brain cells and nerve cells. And it provides cardio and immune protection, which is really cool. So your body starts healing itself after not eating for 14 hours. 36 hours, autophagy increases by 300%, so it goes up even more. 48 hours, autophagy is increased by 300%. Immune system is reset, and regeneration starts. Increased reduction in inflammatory response. And then after 72 hours, it says autophagy maxes out. Now, I saw Sarah in here actually say that she fasted. Megan says 4 days. I saw Sarah actually put in here that she fasted for 10 days. And there's people that do this like medically guided, right? You need to make sure you know what you're doing. Obviously, you're going to fast that long. That's a long time. But what's really cool is your body does this for a reason. Our bodies are just incredible machines. And I know this. I don't have to read notes to know that our bodies really haven't evolved. So if we think about back to when we were cave people, I like to use this analogy because think about how they lived. Have you ever seen the show Naked and Afraid? If you've seen that show, let me know in the comments. And it's a really interesting show. And I love this analogy because that's basically how they live. They live like cave people, right? And how do they eat? How do they eat? They would wake up in the morning and they wouldn't just go downstairs and, pour a bowl of Fruit Loops and have a donut or something. No, they would have to go out and forage for food or kill something to eat something, and then bring that back and then sit down and have one big thing and then go do it again. And sometimes, guess what? Sometimes they didn't eat. Sometimes they don't eat. So that's why your body does whatever it can after going for so long without food. And we've been lied to so much about so many things, and I've learned by having to like, okay, for the whole eat every 2 to 3 hours thing is fine as long as you're doing it in a 8 hour window or a 6 hour window instead of doing it for in a 20, because I mean, let's face it, we've all been there before, and back in the day when whatever we'd go out and have, I mean, I was a couple months ago or last month, I was in Chicago eating hot dogs and drinking beer. So, once in a while, but and then going to sleep on all that stuff, right? Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? What's one of the number one things that people like to do after they've been drinking at night? After eating, they like to go out. Isn't it the best thing to have greasy food after you've been drinking? Let's real talk here. It is, but oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I'm going to sleep with all that in me all the time. There's people that like to live like that. That's just okay. But anyways, all right. So intermittent fasting is pretty cool. You should really do your research into it. It is a natural way for your body to reset, and it does amazing things when you do the right things and eat the right things at the right time, and stay physically active, and you do it consistently. Then that's all it really takes. So I'm glad that you watch this video. If you want to continue the conversation, to learn more about what I'm doing with my health and wellness to take care of myself as best way possible. I totally geek out on this stuff. I have some amazing friends who know so much more than me. I was actually just on a little 3-person Zoom with a few of my friends on my business partners, and I learned so much tonight. And I already knew about all this fasting stuff, but I learned so much more about my DNA and other things that we talk about. And I continue to learn, continue to evolve, because I just want to wake up every morning and just feel amazing like I feel right this moment. So hey, listen, thank you for watching this video tonight. I totally appreciate it. If you want, I will put a copy of the picture that my friend she sent me. I'll put it in the comments. That shows all the information that I read to you in this video. Or if you want to see it more personal, I can message it to you in Facebook Messenger. So I will see you tomorrow again with a brand new video, something fun and exciting to talk about that'll hopefully inspire you and make you feel better. When you give your eyeballs and your ears to me, I'm humbled and blessed. You've decided to hang out with me in this video because you give me the most important thing that you have in your life, and that's this moment. Because you're not getting it back. You hung out with me. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Good night, everybody.